Hey, welcome back to the TFL Podcast. We are into week 9. You're with Rowan and Arch.
Yes.
How you going, mate?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you, Ron? Look, obviously we're a couple of minutes late than what we planned, but we're fit and firing, ready to go, ready to talk some week 9 DFS action.
Yeah, this is what it's all about. Look, we are just churning through the season. It just keeps coming at you. It's crazy to think we're halfway through, really.
I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be over before we know it.
I know,
it's such a long off season.
I know, that's right. You get to February and you're already like, oh, let's do some drafts. It gets a bit
rookie
like
drafts are already happening. Rookie mock drafts are already happening, aren't they? Like around the place.
Crazy.
I've seen pop up. So no, look, I can't get that. I can't look that far ahead at the moment, mate. So I'm just in season at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. It's been good fun. We're having a good time. And everyone, you can catch us on our Facebook, our Twitter. We have our YouTube. If you're watching right now on YouTube, give us a like and give us a subscribe. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We have a Patreon at the TFL Podcast and the TFLpodcast.com. You can find us in all these crazy, crazy places. And, of course, 5-star reviews are much appreciated. So share us around. That's it. Our Discord chat continues to be a great place to be.
Another week, another new member.
Love it. That's what we want to see. Keep going.
No, lots of chat going. One of our, what we should be pumping up, Rowan, is one of our Patreon members on the Discord won the $2 mini for the Monday Night Football. You know, him and 12 of them.
That's it. Still, it's a win.
But he was up there. He won and was profitable for that night. So, I'm going to claim it as my own win, Rowan, because they haven't been that common.
It's all about living vicariously, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Absolutely. Right, yeah.
So it's one for the team. One for the team. So, no, I love it. If you want to get a part of the action, join our Discord. It's good fun.
We should create a little logo
for
all of the members of our Discord to use as their Draft Stars account.
Yep.
And they can everyone can see, look, everyone's part of the TFL podcast here.
Real draft studs type action, I guess. That's what they're doing.
Who are those guys? I've never heard of those guys.
Yeah, very popular people.
Right.
Successful, I should say.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, so, hey, rounding into week 9, but quick little flick back to week 8. Arch, talk to us about how week 8 treated you.
Yeah, look, just missed out on the double up cash line. So my cash lineup was just a bit off. So that wasn't good. Look, GPPs. Look, I went real heavy charges. I thought there was a chance to hit back after, a letdown the last time they played. Unfortunately, that didn't go well for me. And I went 40% exposure on Tampa Bay defense, and they scored a big fat donut. And GPPs were sunk. And all of my action was in the second half. So I was like, the whole morning slate, I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I've got a lot of stuff coming in the afternoon slate. And it just never did. And I think
the afternoon slate did not provide much unless you're playing Brady Godwin, essentially.
Oh, but it looked so promising. But yeah, so I was a bit disappointed. Tampa Bay, New Orleans. I think maybe the history. I guess I just dismissed and thought Brady can overcome that. But New Orleans really have their measure, don't they?
Sean Payton is coaching out of his mind. Yeah, it's
So I'm interested to see when we get to the New Orleans game this week what you think against Atlanta. What I think I'm doing, Rowan, I'm going to change my strategy this week. Over the last few weeks, I've been hitting the max multi 50 centers. I haven't been doing the max entry of 100, but I've been heavily leaning into lots of entries, and I think I'm going to move over to a 10 max comp in the mini where I think with only 10 max, there's a lot more room for error. It's a smaller field tournament as well. I think potentially that I might have a little bit more success there with the way I've been building lineups. So I'm gonna probably not do so much of probably won't touch the mini really. Do
you mean the micro, the 50 cent?
Yes, the micro. Sorry, yeah. So I'm probably going to move into 10 entries on the mini. Probably maybe look for 2 games only.
Yep.
that I like the most, and sort of create stacks with just small variations around them. That's what I'm thinking after just overlooking how I've gone the last few weeks.
For sure. Here's just a bit of a heads up around that, right? It's interestingly, okay, last week in the $2 mini, actually the person who came first in that, 209 points. The person who came first in the micro, 203
Same guy,
points.
wasn't it?
No, it was different.
Was it?
It was a 6-point difference between first in the mini, which you wouldn't expect to be over the micro. So that was a little...
But that's not usual, right?
That's a quirk, for sure. But if you go down, like, say, 10th place in the $2 mini, 10th place was 177. 10th place in the micro, though, 184. So the drop-off was quite big. And then if you had 177 in the micro, you're sitting down in 28th place. And you're
barely min-cashing.
Yeah, that's right. So... yeah, I don't mind that strategy from your Arch. I think that's not a bad way to go about it, and that way you can kind of hone in on those 10 key teams that you like the look of as well. For me, last week it was decent. My best team I entered. How many did I enter? I think I entered 50, and my best team came 9th, which was nice. 185 on the week. That was with a Brady Godwin stack there, and I didn't bring it back with anyone from New Orleans, which paid off because Marquis Callaway was the guy that I put in a bunch of others, and he just farted in the bed. Elijah Mitchell.
Don't overlook a good fart in bed though. Like that's some, I do enjoy one. Anyway, go on.
Elijah Mitchell was good, but the biggest thing I think that pushed people at the leaderboard last week was that Pittman Jr. AJ Brown pairing in that game. You didn't have to play Wentz or Tannehill, but you played Pittman Jr. and AJ Brown, and that was really solid. Dan Arnold, of course, featured in that lineup, which was nice. I actually had busts from Antonio Gibson and Cortland Sutton in my 9th position lineup there as well. So really, if I had not pivoted to Antonio Gibson when I saw that he was healthy, I probably would have been able to push up even further into the leaderboard there. But that's okay. My second team, number 40 place, that was a Geno Smith stack with DK Metcalf. I just thought I'd chuck a 50-cent lineup in there with Geno Smith, and ended up doing fairly well for me actually there. Yeah. So that was a bit of fun.
I've been noticing this year, if you can get your running backs right at value prices, and then you pay up for those wide receivers, that seems to be the builds that are winning the tournaments at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're right. Definitely. Well, there you go. All right, so there's a bit of a reflection on last week, and I think now is the time, Arch, where we're going to jump into Week 9 NFL.
Oh, yeah! Ha, ha! Week 9 of flipping time! Ha! Oh! All right, later.
We're going to start off here with Thursday Night Football. And the Draft Stars Showdown came out today, and Arch and I have already quickly put in our best $2 lineup for you all to have a little perusal over. It's an interesting little lineup here that we've got. And compared to last week when we went into the Thursday Night Football game, that was a really similar. I think it was like one person difference into this little head-to-head comp that we put between the two of us. Well, a little bit different this week. We've got 3 pieces all different. Archie, you going to throw that up for the people on the live stream?
So don't want to look for the prices first. Let's just go a nice, what's it called? Come on. There we are.
It's like, hey, there we go. Nice little graphic.
What I want to know, just quietly,
sure.
These aren't the order that I picked my players in my lineup, yet it's how do they choose the order that it locks in that team? Like,
I don't know.
I can't work it out because it's not alphabetical. It's not by salary. No, it's just random. Not. It would be nice if all our similar players were next to each other. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, that's all right. Well, let's just say who the similar guys are. Both you and I have Wentz, Pittman Jr. and Jonathan Taylor in our lineups. How do you play a
lineup without him? Without that 3?
It's going to be tricky to do that. Like, Pittman is just clearly the one. Jonathan Taylor is just feasting at the moment. Carson Wentz is coming strong, and the Jets aren't putting up much defense really against the quarterbacks or the running backs. Potentially, you could play a lineup where it's Jonathan Taylor And heck, you could play Marlon Mack even and hope that it's a real run game on the ground. Wentz just kind of plays safe with the ball, and then you've got Mike White pitching to guys like Crowder and Moore and Carter and Ty Johnson around the ball. So you could play it like that. But anyway, Arch, walk us through your lineup, and you've got Wentz, Pittman Jr., and JT. Who are the other three?
Look, Zach Pascal. So let's go with Carter. Like, he had a monster game with Mike White last week, and so did Ty Johnson, really. But Carter was ahead of him. I think it was double-digit targets, or maybe it was 9 targets, or no receptions, I think, even. So, the PPR
it was 12 targets, I think, for Michael Carter.
Yeah, and 9 receptions. So
yeah,
that's huge. And look, is Mike White going to throw for that many yards again? Probably not.
Unlikely.
But, we saw Tennessee, they put up a lot of points against Indianapolis. So, it could be a fun game, really. Like, if you first look at these two teams, you maybe not think so. But Carter, I think, is a solid play here. I think he'll be popular as well after, obviously, a big game. But the 12,000, you have to fit that salary in, which, if you're going those top 3, Wentz, Pittman, and Taylor, that doesn't leave you much. And so what it's left me with Zach Pascal now, he's second in targets on that team. So hasn't had huge games. He needs a touchdown. That would be nice. But for someone in 90+% of snaps, leading second in the team in targets behind Pittman, I think for 6,000, that's pretty good value.
Sure.
So I was tossing up between him and Mo Alley-Cox. Mo Alley-Cox is, he only had, it was less than 50% snaps. Jack Doyle was on the field more than him. He's not as involved as Mo Alley-Cox, and Cox seems to have the that touchdown threat a lot more, and so he's that touchdown. I'll be playing him a fair bit with alternating between him and Pascal. Don't know if both of them get there in the same game, so I'd be hesitant to play a lineup. Maybe one with 2 of them, but really, I thought he's on the field more. In PPR formats, if he can catch a few balls, he's gonna cover that cost pretty well. And Tyler Croft, he scored a touchdown last week. Why can't he do it again?
For sure. No, I don't mind that. I think one of the things as well when I consider the showdowns, like these are $80,000 salary caps, and looking back at some of the past results, you're looking at about 120 will net you a win. Will knock it off. So you're thinking if these guys can 1.5 times their salary, then that's really pretty good. And Zach Pascal, I think you want 9 points out of him. Yeah, sure. He can go 3 for 60. Not a problem. So, yeah, I like that a lot. On my side, so yeah, I've got JT Wentz and Pittman Jr. But the 3 I've got the quarterback. That's Mike White. He's sitting there at 30,900, which is pretty all right considering, if he is going to play the check down king role and get these guys like Jamison Crowder and Moore and Michael Carter, if they're going to push up the field and play that game, then there's no reason to think that he can't get what does he need, 19, 20 points, and I think that's will be very, very serviceable from that guy. And as well, the Colts are really solid. They're number 1 in DVOA against the run, and so I'm not expecting rushing touchdowns in this game.
Yep.
If they're going to score, it's going to be through the air. So Mike White plays into that for me. So I think he'll benefit. I could see him get 2 touchdowns here in this game. Jamison Crowder, I'm pairing with him. I think if you're going to play Mike White, you have to have a pass catcher for sure.
Yeah,
Jamison Crowder's the guy. Corey Davis is doubtful. Elijah Moore was good, but he only played 36% of the snaps last week. And so you can read that 2 ways. He had 6 targets. So Elijah Moore, do you go, he was on the field a short amount of time, but he had heaps of targets. So, play him more targets, right? But Jamison Crowder's, I think, still the clear one without Corey Davis. And he's the guy that will be favoured for Mike White in the slot. So Jamison Crowder, it's a PPR format. He's only 8,000, so I think he can hit 12 points. Pretty easily. Add in a chance of a touchdown, and I think he pays off really well. The last guy I've got is Ashton Doolin. Without T.Y. Hilton in the team, Ashton Doolin is the clear 3rd wide receiver. He's there at basement price $1,000. So, I need him to get 1.5 points. for him to pay off. So I think what he does and what he frees up around the rest of the slate is really, really nice. And yeah, like looking at the snap count from last week, 2 weeks ago when Hilton didn't play, Doolin was on the field for 63% of the snaps. He was only on there for 36% last week, but that's because T.Y. Hilton was playing, and then he went down injured late. So I think, again, we'll see that Doolin will play that clear third role. And, yeah, he just needs one or two decent catches to pay off the salary. So difference here between us, I've got Mike White, Ashton Doolin, and Jamison Crowder. Arch, you've got Pascal, Michael Carter, and Tyler Croft. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
See who wins the massive high stakes of our head-to-head.
That's it. Well, let's jump in then to the main slate. Let's start with a game that we're going to brush over real quick.
Yes.
It's Carolina Panthers taking on New England Patriots. It's a 41-point total with the Patriots 4-point favorites here. This is going to be a run-heavy, defensive-minded game for me. I'm not going to stack here at all.
No.
The cheapies that I would want to play would be potentially Chuba Hubbard because he's $8K basement price on Draft Stars.
Christian McCaffrey is designated to return. Does he play this week?
Yeah, that's the thing. So if McCaffrey doesn't play, then Chuba Hubbard's there as a basement price. He's going to get touches. But last week we saw Abdullah and Royce Freeman come onto the field for a bit as well. So against New England,
to me, looking at Draft Stars prices, I'm playing whoever is healthy and playing. Like McCaffrey at 15,000. When have you ever played McCaffrey at 15,000? Like that is, you have to play him if he's playing, right?
Yeah, I agree. You kind of have to.
And then if he's not playing, Chuba Hubbard's 8K basement price. Like I would say in cash, I'm playing one of them.
Okay.
I can't let the volume at the price. I don't think you can get better than that.
No, I think that's fair. That's very, very fair. It's something about the Patriots defense at the moment and the way that they take out the best weapons. You know, I feel like you're looking at this. And I feel like they'll take McCaffrey out. I feel like if he's not in there, Chuba Hubbard's not going to get much. I just don't know. There's something about this game that puts me off. So I'm probably going to avoid even in cash. I know the volume is there, but
41 point plus minus. That's fair call.
Could you play Kendrick Bourne at 6K? He's put out some, 10, 12, 15-point games. He's thrown a passing touchdown. He's had some big plays. Kendrick Bourne's kind of there, but I don't know. I feel like that's still
I'm not interested in those pieces.
No, for sure. All right, well, let's move on. Let's keep going. We got Jacksonville taking on Buffalo.
Yes.
And just talk us through the stack here.
Look, it's a 49-point over under, so we're getting very hovering close to that 50 mark where we start getting excited, and what we're really excited is Buffalo's implied team total of 31.75 points. So that is onslaught territory, really, isn't it? So, and Jacksonville they've got some pieces where they might they'll keep things going. I like Buffalo's defense if you can pay up for them because, Jacksonville's going to sling it around to try to keep up. There's lots of chance of turnovers then. But, yeah, look, this is definitely a game where you can go heavy on lots of stacks. And I think the way you're going to have to do it is that you need two pass catchers for your stacks. Otherwise, I think everyone's going to have an Alan Diggs or Alan Sanders or Alan Beasley. Like they're going to be pretty chalky. I think how you get different is adding two pass catchers and then, get different elsewhere. I'm probably not feeling a bring back option if I do a stack here. So, probably the stack I'm interested in is probably Alan Diggs Sanders. I think Sanders is still getting those deep targets. He's dropped below Beasley in price this week, which is interesting as well on Draft Stars. DraftKings still have it the other way around. Sanders is the expensive one, but Beasley had a great week, but I think Sanders is still heavily involved, and the deep targets can be that's where they can really expose Jacksonville in some deep passes, and so if Sanders can take one of them to the house. I like that.
For sure.
But yeah, man, Diggs, come on, man. Get a cut, have a 2-touchdown game, please. Like, it's just, he's so good, but they just don't need him to do so much, do they? Like, they just don't need him to. So from a football standpoint, you can't be mad at them, but for fantasy, it's just like so much is right, like we want from Diggs.
That's right. I think the biggest thing that we need to look at here is whether Dawson Knox is back in or not.
Yeah.
Because that greatly impacts Cole Beasley's role in this team. That short underneath passing work, Beasley just ate that up the last 2 weeks. Yep. He's 24, 21.8 DraftKings points the last 2 weeks, and that's huge. So Dawson Knox, when he was in the team though, Beasley had a couple of weeks of 1.5, 3.6, 7.6. Like, that's not nice. So I think that's really been a big factor here. So if Dawson Knox isn't playing, then I think Beasley's a really solid play at 10.7K. So that's
Draft stars have priced Knox at 7.2. They're anticipating they're just keeping it there in case he is back, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll tell you what. One price that hasn't been aggressively altered after last week is Jamal Agnew, and that's someone we talked about last week as a 6K, and didn't that pay off? So he was in a lot of our lineups as one of those 6K fillers that helps us get to the big guys. And what did he end up with?
15.8 last week. Very solid.
Like, that's, if you can get that from a 6K guy, that's great. So
if anyone's
he's only gone up
times in your lineup, you are absolutely cheering.
Yeah, it's only 6.3 now. Like, it's gone up $340. Like,
he's doubled that the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
almost doubled it the week before.
And in a game where they're gonna have to throw to keep up, like,
they're gonna play chippy.
Fire Agnew up, like
100%.
Yeah. So look for him. Gabriel Davis is an interesting one at 6K. Just hasn't seemed to have got there this year. But he's always a chance, isn't he?
I mean, last week he had that touchdown off of 4 receptions, only 29 receiving yards though. So, like, he'll be used every now and again. I can't quite trust him anymore at the moment. But like, if Sanders was to be injured, then yes, I'd be very willing to play him. But right now, I don't know if I could do it.
No. Look, So look, Agnew's probably my cheap option on this game. Risky is it? Look, I like Zach Moss this week, but playing Zach Moss scares the hell out of me, Rowan. Like,
he's still sharing, right? Like, it's not completely his backfoot at all.
He's gone up to he's cracked 10K this week. Like, so that to me is just a mental block. But then that says, well, if he's cracked that 10K, people aren't going to click the button and put him in their lineups. And so it's like, oh, is this a chance for leverage? And so that's something I'm wrestling with. Draft Stars, shout out Draft Stars for just releasing your prices just a few hours ago. But so these are the things that we're sort of, on first look, it's just like, oh, I wonder what people are going to think about a 10K Zach Moss. And so potentially I don't mind the spot, because if he gets going, it's 31 point implied team total. That means there's offense, there's touchdowns, opportunities. Obviously, we know that Josh Allen does run in touchdowns on the ground and steals that away from him. But yeah, it's interesting. James Robinson's also a play. James Robinson is cheaper than Zach Moss this week.
That's crazy to me. If the thing is though, Buffalo's defense is just superb. So there's a risk there playing J-Rob, but he's just the clear number one. But Carlos Hyde Arch is going to get the touches if J-Rob misses, because remember, J-Rob went out last week. Hurt a few of my lineups as well, because I loved J-Rob last week. But yeah, Carlos Hyde, it'll be interesting. His basement price over on draft starts, so
worth chucking into a couple GPPs if Robinson's out. So just monitor the news of that.
Sure.
But Josh Allen, cash king for
100%
for quarterback. All right, move on.
Next up, we got the Saints taking on Atlanta. New Orleans Saints are 6-point favorites, but this is a 42-point total. This is an intriguing game for mine. Like, Taysom Hill. Let's talk stacks. Taysom Hill is probably coming back from a concussion to take the helm at this game. And we talk about the pass catches here, and I just can't buy into it. I know Atlanta has one of the worst pass defenses in the competition. The reality is, though, who am I going to play? Do I really want to play Tre'Quan Smith or Marquis Brown?
Let's just end it here. We're not building New Orleans stacks this week, Rowan.
No. But can you play Taysom Hill? That's my question. Because Taysom Hill, when he came in last year and was a starter, he was a top 12 quarterback for 4 weeks. So he might have been quarterback 13 for one of those weeks as well. His rushing production, he's a Jalen Hurts type player, right? So he can come in and put stuff on the ground. And the only question is then, does that affect, say, Alvin Kamara, right? Alvin Kamara, in the games against Atlanta that Taysom Hill started last year, he was like suffering from, I think, less than 3 targets in both of those games. So, but if they were trailing, there was a game that they were trailing, and Kamara had 10 targets from Taysom Hill. So I think we're looking, if you look at this and go, it's 42-point total. Atlanta don't have Calvin Ridley. Their offense really struggled last week. Kyle Pitts just couldn't get going. I'm big fade on everyone in Atlanta this week. Cordero Patterson, I mean, he's priced less than 10K, so there's some value there for Cordero Patterson.
I'm okay with CPAT this week.
Other than him, though, it's a rough time out there.
Yeah.
Remember, the Saints shut down Fournette last week. So
and Pitts is going to get that guy Lattimore, isn't it?
That's it. They're playing corners on Pitts now because they realize he's the wide receiver.
As soon as Tajay Sharp enters conversations, you know the offense needs to just be shut down. Let's just not to worry about them. Is Taysom Hill even the starter? Do we even know though? I think potentially Trevor Simeon's still the guy.
If Simeon starts, he's priced at basement on at 8K. Yeah. So I'll play him. I'll happily play him against Atlanta at 8K, and I'll play him with Alvin Kamara and expect Kamara to get a bunch of targets and roll with that. So because Mark Ingram's there, playing the punch power game, and Kamara can ride the slot. Like that's pretty good. So Simeon's going to be, if he plays, I'll play a Simeon Kamara stack in a few lineups. That's for sure.
Yeah, but pass catches for both teams, it's just like who's who of practice squad guys, really, isn't it? Like, it's just it's a sad state.
It's a bit ugly. Saints defense definitely in play. 7K. I like that one a lot.
Yep, like that.
Next up, we got the Giants taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a 46.5-point total. Keeps it a little bit interesting. The Raiders are 2.5-point favorites. I feel like that's a little short.
I mean, I don't know.
But the Raiders could be getting up here. I know they've had a horrific week.
Yeah, I mean, listen to Derek Carr. He's hurting. How do you go out and play at a high level with that much of interest? I don't know. I mean, they're professionals. New York Giants could get something going. Danny Dimes, you never know what could happen on that day, really. It could be a 5-interception day or a 5-touchdown day. We'll see what happens. But, it's a horror. I mean, we don't need to talk about it. Everyone knows what's going on with all the bull crap over there. But, it's an interesting game. If we talk fantasy, what happens on the Las Vegas side? Are you leaning into Waller more? The more I look at
I do like Waller.
Look, it makes sense, doesn't it? But the more I look at the slate, on a whole, not just look at this matchup, the more I'm thinking I'm only punting tight end this week. I'm not paying up for anyone. I just don't think it's worth the risk of them busting when there's a lot of other big guys that I could get up to if I punt the tight end position. And I think there's 5 to 6K tight ends that, are going to give me 10 points. And so Waller, I'm out this week. Sure, he could have a good game, and I'm happy to wear that, but I'm not interested too much. And so if I'm doing a car stack, I'm trying to think, who's the pass catcher that could do well? Could this be a chance for Edwards to command a bit more of target share? I think, obviously Renfro as well was heavily targeted, but I think Edwards is going to have that, those deeper passes now, potentially, have that sort of long play touchdown ability. So, I don't mind a pairing with Carr. Probably want, if I've got only 10 entries in my mini, Rowan, I'm probably not going to use one on a Las Vegas stack.
Sure.
But, a Carr, Edwards, and a Tony bring back, because I think Tony is the only wide receiver left with Slayton now in the Giants land.
That Giants receiving core is in just hell. I mean, Evan Engram is he's priced pretty cheaply. He got a touchdown. Like, he's like he's what's left, right? But if Barkley gets up, I know he's in the COVID protocol.
Yeah.
Like I'd be playing him at 13K on Draft Stars
for sure.
But if he doesn't, then Devontae Booker is a smash at 9K.
To me, this is it's almost like Draft Stars are hedging their bets. They did this with Carolina pricing where they don't know who's going to start, but what they've done is they've just lowered the price on both of them, rather than maybe why not? What I don't know if it's I don't know what the full mechanics of it all, but I would have thought you just price both if they're unsure, price them both as if they're playing, right? And so
that's the way
Saquon should be a 15K running back, and Booker should be 11K if he's starting. That's my feeling. And so the fact that Booker's 9.2, if he starts, lock that in. Like that's in.
He showed what he could do.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs appears to be trending to be healthy for the week, and he's only 10K as well. I like Josh Jacobs this week to play. Like I said, if we look at Waller, I'm not too high on him just for the salary when I think there's other options, and for cash, I like the running backs for New York Giants. Who's healthy, I'll play them.
Yeah, fair enough. I think the one guy that we need to really consider actually with Ruggs obviously gone, like Bryan Edwards has been playing 89. Like he played 89% of the snaps in week 7, 77, 76, 89. Like he's always in that high 70s to 80s range. So I don't know if his snap share is really going to change that much. Targets possibly, but Renfro is this guy that we know Derek Carr loves to throw the ball to and is a safe option.
Yeah,
Renfro should see his snap percentage go up. So I think Renfro is a safe pick.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, then what do you see with Darren Waller, all that kind of stuff, that impact? That's a
Could
question.
Be a Zay Jones week as well. He likes to bob up for a touchdown every now and again.
But yeah, could Zay Jones be the young guy that replaces on the outside? That's very possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zay Jones' snap share jumps up to 50% during this week.
Waller's injury from last week, if for some reason he doesn't get up, Foster Moreau at 5K is an absolute
smash
lock.
That. Absolutely smash that. So there you go. There's some pieces in this game that you can.
Yeah,
that you can
pieces,
see.
not stacks for me.
Now the Raiders defense 5,170. That's okay. That's not too bad. Next up, you got Baltimore taking on Minnesota. It's a 49.5 point total. Baltimore 6-point favorites. Can you stack this game? Absolutely, you can stack this game. Baltimore effectively last against the pass, so look for a bounce back game here for Jefferson and Thielen to just take the field, and Kirk Cousins they'll need to pass to keep up. This is a game where they'll need to get the ball moving through the air. So I definitely like a Minnesota stack, which might be pretty contrarian to what the field wants to do. They want to play Lamar, especially when they've priced Marquis Brown at 9.9K. What draft stars are the actual you doing? I know that sentence was very mixed, but Marquis Brown is a 25-point player when he has his day. Like, Marquis Brown can go nuts. He's shown it multiple times, almost consistently this year. Marquis Brown is coming up against Minnesota's pass defense, which is, frankly, it's okay. But, we saw last week CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper be really solid on the outside.
Baltimore know how to win and how to throw this year, don't they? So
100% they do. So I'm looking at this game. I'm going, okay, Minnesota, Baltimore. I think I'll play a lot around this game. I mean, Justin Jefferson himself is only 12.2K. For a guy that can put up big scores, he could 2 times that easy. Adam Thielen, all he needs to do is get in the end zone, and it's something he's paying off as well. The other guy that's sneaky is Rashad Bateman. Last time we saw him, he had 3 catches for 80 yards, and he's priced at 8.2K. I like that.
Yeah, and I wonder if that has something to do with Marquise Brown's price, that there's this feeling that there's a potential there for him to lose some of that work to Bateman.
Maybe, but the thing is, Baltimore's run game is just not what it was. Aside from Lamar Jackson, you've got just old bodies on the ground. They're not playing Tyson Williams as much as we thought they might, so they're passing it more. And Mark Andrews is sitting there at 11.7K. He's arguably the number 1 target on that team. 4 weeks ago, he put up 44.7 points.
Oh, that was an intense game, wasn't it? Was that when he threw for over 400-odd yards? It was ridiculous.
Oh, it was stupid. Against Indianapolis. That was just absolutely crazy. But so Mark Andrews can do this.
Yeah.
For sure. Tyler Conklin as well. If we look at the points given up to tight ends, the Ravens have given the most draft stars points to tight ends across the year at 20.4 points a game. So Tyler Conklin comes into this game and playing arguably the fourth target behind Jefferson, Thielen, and Cook. Because we've seen Conklin do more on the field in the last few weeks than old KJ Osborne, who had a flash to start the year. So really, you can play all these pieces. It's about how you mix them together. But I'm actually favoring a Minnesota stack, bringing it back with a Marquis Brown or a Mark Andrews. That's how I kind of play this game. So yeah, it's definitely stackable. The cheapies, Marquis Brown is a cheapie in my mind, which is
that's
stupid.
You've got so much. If you do that stack, you've got a lot of salary to pick up some big pieces elsewhere. So no, I like that. Marquis Brown. Did you say it? 14 targets the last game he played. Like that's outlandish. Like double Mark Andrews targets. Like it's So no, I don't know what are they doing? Did they just forget over the bye what he did?
Potentially. I think we have this bye fatigue sometimes, and we just forget it all.
Anyway,
far out. It was,
maybe they thought he put up a donut last week.
But that's the thing. 2 weeks ago, in week 7, 14 targets to Marquis Brown, 6 to Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
Like, if they're going to feed those two guys that many targets each week, or 20 targets between the two of them, just imagine that. Like, that's crazy. But the thing is as well, the one hesitancy I have is that potentially Minnesota suck like they did against Dallas, and they just don't need to.
Yeah.
That's the risk. That's probably the biggest thing here is game script could go against them. Yeah. And that's the risky part of this game.
Which then, again, potentially favours your Minnesota stack where they're just going to have to keep firing.
That's true. Yeah. So Jefferson and Thielen, fire them up. All right, guys, we want you to join our Patreon. Yes. I'm not going to lie. We want you to do it. It's $2 a month. Australian. That's nothing. Come on. Get on board. Join our Discord. Get involved in the DFS community. We are here to prop each other up.
Yes.
Share our thoughts. Discuss processes. Scare sheen shots. No, share screenshots is what I was trying to
have a bit of a laugh, Rowan.
That's right. It's good fun. Get involved in the community. And we'll give you a cash game lineup each week that we like as well. Just jump on board, guys. Help us get better graphics and things like that, better sound drops, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, what's wrong with the sound drops, man?
Nothing. I love them. They're the best. Anyway, guys, patreon.com/the TFL podcast. Just $2 a month.
Yeah.
Hit us up. Next up, we got Cincinnati.
Shout out to Palmer for taking out that contest.
Yeah, on your
Discord
Palmer
as well.
Love that. Cincinnati versus Cleveland. Arch, where are we at? 47-point total. 2.5-point favorites are Cincinnati. It's been an interesting few days for old Cleveland. OBJ has left the building, effectively.
Yes. Sorry.
So how do you see this
I've
game?
never pressed record today.
I have, so don't you worry about my end. All right, Arch.
The audition's crashing.
Stop flailing. Give us a stat.
Yeah. Yeah, look. Am I interested in Cleveland? No. It's just...
All right, there you go.
It's just not good. Things aren't going well, are they? So...
Nope.
Why won't that record? That's just weird. Sorry.
Professional businessman over
Cincinnati,
here.
Though, is where it's at on this game. There's a 47-point over-under, so there's still points to be had. Cincinnati's the favourite team. I like a Burrows, Chase, Higgins onslaught here, where I'm not. If Chubb may be a bring back, I think. Well, I think Chubb's at 10, just shy under 11K. He's not getting the passing work with Hunt out, but I think it's still the floor's there and still has quite a high ceiling if he gets going. I mean, what else do they have on their offense at the moment, Cleveland? So,
good question.
Chase is smashing this year. We've seen that. Higgins is just getting targeted. So I like playing both of them together. CJ Uzama.
Yeah.
He's still only 5K.
It's just, he's clearly an important part of the offense. We're seeing this
He
week
is
in, week
going
out.
to. He'll be the chalk punt tight end, won't he?
Yeah, he probably will be.
Like,
Don't mind it.
So
That's right. If it's chalk and he fails, then you fail with everyone else, and it doesn't matter because it's the cheapest position on the field. So don't sweat it. Just play his armor.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It really does.
What do you think about this? Cincinnati Bengals have given up the most receptions to the running back on the year.
Yep.
So do you look at that and go, Chubb might be in line for a few more targets? Or do you look at that and go, is there another pass-catching back like Deonis Johnson? Is he going to potentially pair up with Chubb again this week? He's super cheap, right? I think he's basement price. So or do you just go, no, you don't read anything into that, it's Chubb and that's all?
Yeah, look, I don't think it's worth the risk of playing him, really. I think there's a lot of value running backs out there that I don't need to sniff around Deonis Johnson too much.
Yeah, sure.
I think Chubb's just the guy, really, that is going to, if the game's in the balance, they're going to lean on him, aren't they? So
you think so? If they get behind, though, which it's very possible they do, Donovan Peoples-Jones has been back at practice this week. He's priced at 6K. There's no OBJ. I feel like he's been the clear two, opposite Jarvis Landry. And Odell Beckham Jr. had that outside role. So here comes DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, to also play on that outside role. He's shown that he can burst for 100 yards and a touchdown or two. I don't mind him here if you're really desperate at that wide receiver spot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. Always looking for those 6K guys, aren't we? That can pop. So, tell you what, if OBJ plays, he's 6K as well. So, but who knows what's going on there?
Has he
Clearly
really been returning any value though? Even with
his
last few weeks before,
probably true.
Who knows? But either way, we're probably staying away from this game for the most part, except for that Cincinnati.
Yeah, and Mixon gives me nightmares as well. Especially if they're going to be ahead. Are they going to then move, is Perine going to come in and just take a lot of work towards the back end of the game? That's just something that makes me just not want to play Mixon this week.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on. We've got Dallas taking on Denver. Dallas are 9.5-point favorites and a 49.5-point total. So there's still going to be points scored on potentially both sides of the ball here. So when we're thinking about the stacks in this spot, I definitely think you're stacking Dallas. I mean, you can stack Dallas every week.
Yeah.
The biggest question is whether you can stack Denver. And last week I thought you could. Washington were giving out the most points to quarterbacks and wide receivers, but the reality was that neither team could get much going, and they just played it safe and they ran the ball a lot, and the touchdowns went to Melvin Gordon, much to my dismay in redraft because I put him on my bench.
Yes.
But in this game, you've got an offense that works on Dallas, and you've got Denver who will need to keep up. Teddy, you have to throw the ball. So I'm not anti-stacking Denver in this game. Cortland Sutton has shown he has a big ceiling. Jerry Jeudy's back. He's warming back into it. He's a phenomenal route runner. So Jerry Jeudy might be able to do something here underneath that potentially Cortland Sutton can't do if he's going up against Diggs on the outside. So I don't mind playing a skinny stack of Bridgewater and Jeudy and then bringing it back with a Zeke or CeeDee Lamb or a Amari Cooper. I think they're all pretty good prospects. Actually, I think Amari Cooper at 11.4K on DraftStars is cheap for what he can do.
Yeah,
he can two times that easy. CeeDee Lamb's 13.6. Like, that's still good for what he can do.
Yep.
But I think Amari Cooper here is the play. If you're going to pick one of the wide receivers out of this game, it's Amari Cooper for me.
Yep.
Been limited this week, mind you, but we'll keep an eye on that.
So the thing I worry about is just looking at Denver's implied team total of just 20. The touchdowns are going to be hard to come by. And so those players, if you're playing on that Denver side, if they're not threatening to get touchdowns, that's maybe why potentially I'd probably avoid playing too heavy Denver.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The one guy that I actually is my probably one of the sneakiest picks of the week. I don't know, maybe it's not too sneaky.
Sneakiest.
But it's Alberto. at tight end.
Yeah, so they were looking at that. I'm like, is it going to be Abbott?
It is going to be Albert. He's a guy that has shown that when Noah Fant leaves the field, he can play the role. Like last week, he came back in, had a 12% target share, had 3 targets. Noah Fant had 4. Like Teddy really threw it around a lot last week. So many different receivers caught a pass. But Noah Fant goes. Noah Fant's been averaging. He had 7, 11, 4, 10 targets the 4 weeks before that. So they're going to go somewhere. And Albert O, they've trusted him in the end zone before. So I'm going to keep saying Albert O because I just don't want to say his last name.
He doesn't like his last name pronounced anyway. He prefers that. Yeah.
Okay, we'll roll with that.
I think my spreadsheet has a typo in it. I was like, Andrew Beck is at 8K as a tight end for Denver, but he's a running back. So I don't know what happened in my spreadsheet there.
That's the only time you'll ever hear the name Andrew Beck mentioned on this podcast.
Yes. I'm just like, what's Draft Stars done here? Oh, no, it's my error. That's my error.
Anyway.
I like Alberto.
Like a punt. That's good. Should we move on? Miami at Houston. Sorry, Houston at Miami. You've got Miami as 6.5-point favorites, 46-point total.
Yep.
What are we looking at here? This is a potential to be ugly. I don't know how to feel about it.
Tua's been okay for fantasy over the last few weeks.
It's true.
And there's Vegas thinks there's going to be points on the Miami side against Houston. It makes you want to vomit a little bit in your mouth, but you could create a Tua stack here and it could pay off. Again, it's super cheap. Like if you go Tua with a Parker or a Waddle, they're all hovering around the 10K. There's lots of salary then to go up elsewhere.
Yeah.
And we saw Cooks do something last week. I like Gaskin as a value running back this week. I think 9.2K against Houston. You can definitely do a lot worse.
Oh, Houston are the second worst rushing defense. So
yeah.
No Malcolm Brown, right?
No, exactly. So no Malcolm Brown. You're looking at Salvin Ahmed as the only other sort of body around. And when they're almost the same price, I'm going to lean on Gaskin, aren't I? So
yeah.
I like Gaskin this week. I think he's a nice little cheap running back that you can throw in there. Cooks, who's the quarterback? I don't know. Do we know? Is Tyrod coming back this week?
I haven't seen enough to confirm
There's talk
that.
It's getting closer.
Yeah.
Both Houston quarterbacks are 8K on Draft Stars. It's like Draft Stars said, you ain't playing them, and I'm going to prove it by putting them both at 8K. But,
I'd play Tyrod.
Tyrod against Miami, I don't mind. You know what I mean? A Tyrod Cooks, I'll play Tyrod and Cooks together and bring that back with a nice little gas man maybe. And that could work quite nicely.
So disgusting.
And I'd still have $99,000 worth of salary left to play with.
Yeah.
No, look, we don't want to talk about this game too much, really. So, am I going to play any of these in cash? No.
No.
Let's just move on, shall we? Can we move on, please? Nico Collins at 6K seems to be popping up as the neck. He got 9.5 points for 6K. Like he's got targets.
All right, that's enough. That's enough air for Nico Collins.
Yes.
Let's move into the afternoon games.
Love me some Nico.
We've got Philly taking on the Chargers. We've got a 50-point total. It's something to talk about.
We hit 50.
That's it. 1.5-point favorites are the Chargers. Only 1.5.
Yes.
Are we people are reading too much into the Philly win last week against Detroit and the Chargers losses?
2 games in a row.
This is a Herbert get right game. This is absolutely Herbert get right game. Philly still absolutely suck against tight ends and pass catching running backs. They suck against them. So give me Austin Eckler Herbert stacks. I'll roll that out. And Jared Cook, play him because he is pretty cheap at 7,300 for a tight end. I'll play that. Jared Cook. Heck, if you want to get real crazy,
yes,
go Josh Palmer.
Yes,
Parham. Sorry, go Donald
Parham Jr.
That's it. They like him in the end zone if you're looking for a cheat guy. And so you can play all of them. The biggest questions for me really are Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Mike Williams has not looked good since he's had that injury. Keenan Allen was great last week, though. And so are we seeing just a bit of a shift? Are we seeing that Herbert isn't supporting two, top 20 wide receivers on the week? And do you have to pick one? And if I was to pick one, it would be Keenan Allen right now, for sure. Yeah. I mean, Mike Williams could absolutely have a day, but if they're going to, plan to beat Philly where they suck, then you're playing in the middle of the ground, and that's where Eckler's going to be getting targets. That's where Jared Cook's going to get targets. It's where Keenan Allen gets targets, through the middle. So, absolutely love a Keenan Allen stack here. How do I bring it back? I'm probably bringing it back not with any of the pass catchers in Philly, but with Boston Scott at 8K. Yeah. He is basement price for a running back, which is crazy. Boston Scott's a guy that I'm looking at going, you know what? You showed last week that you were the clear Miles Sanders replacement, and the Chargers love to invite the run. They welcome it.
Yep.
But if Boston Scott's the guy, then I'm going to go with Boston Scott here as a really basement price, cheap play against a really bad run defense.
Yep.
So he's my cheapie. As much as my run back.
Yeah, no, I see myself going back to the well with the Chargers. I'll probably have 5 or 6 out of my 10 being Chargers stacks and just play around with the pieces around it. It's going to be interesting. Are they going to be under-owned because of 2 bad games? But possibly. The matchup's nice, though, isn't it? So, but then they might see Philly with that big score last week. I think this is I'll be very interested to see some roster reports, like on projections on rostership with this game, because if this is going to be overlooked, I'm hitting it hard. Yeah,
for sure. I agree. I can't really play anyone other than Boston Scott. Potentially Jalen Hurts naked. Like I could potentially play Jalen Hurts by himself because he has to catch up. He's the fourth quarter specialist.
Yes,
puts
that's
up
right.
15 points in the last quarter. Because he just
could
takes
be a good
it on his own back,
Could be your cash quarterback option.
It feels a bit disgusting to do that with what
he's been cashing a lot of cash lineups this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Just doing that fourth quarter business.
Yeah.
But then you look at the pricing, like, can I just go up 700 more to get Justin Herbert?
Yeah, whose ceiling is definitely higher.
Yeah, huge. Well, Hurts as well. He just isn't a great real world quarterback. He can just give me some fantasy points.
Look, that's one nice play where he gave it to Gainwell. Gainwell flicked it back to Hurts, and he made this real nice on the run pass to Goddard. Like he has these moments, but you're right. Yeah. For a game manager kind of type perspective, he's not great to watch.
What are we? KC and Green Bay. Man, I'm so disappointed, Rowan. I was looking forward to this game much.
Me too.
And I had already, when DraftKings prices first came out, I was looking through and I'm just like, yep, I'm going to go Rodgers, Adams, Hill stacks and, eat up all my salary on 3 guys. But like, I could just see them just going off. Because, Rodgers to Adams against Kansas City, witches hats. Like it's just, it was Hill that was then going to have a big game, wasn't he? Like it was just, so disappointing.
And let's just say Kelsey is not looking himself lately either.
No,
so Hill's the guy.
He was the guy. Oh, I'm not in on Jordan Love this week. I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
I'm not willing. I'm maybe call me weak, but I don't know. Who is he? What's it like? He's someone who only reports I've ever heard is that he doesn't look ready. And he doesn't look right.
It's been a while since I've heard any reports, period.
Exactly. Or the only other report I've heard is that they've flown in Blake Bortles to join their practice squad. Like, it's not just schmo to back him up. It's someone who could potentially, start over him. So who knows the playbook from preseason. Look, I'm just bummed really. So the only way you're going to stack this game is probably going to be on the Kansas City side, and so you're going to probably my favorite look at this would be a Mahomes Hill Hardman. Go 2 pass catches and bring it back with an Aaron Jones. I think they're going to have to lean on the run with a new quarterback in. AJ Dillon's an interesting little play there at 8K because he's involved, and if they're going to lean on the run more, he probably gets more touches as well. And at 8K, he could pull off a big run. So that, a fairly thin play, but it's something to think about. Really, just got to keep an eye on Green Bay's COVID list, don't you? Like,
because these Wisconsins that don't like to get vaccinated, eh?
He was immunized. What did he say? Did he say immunized? That was his, or inoculate? I don't know. He said
I missed that.
Basically, a homeopathic, witch doctor type stuff happening.
Yeah, I forgot he was so into that.
Yeah. So I think his wife maybe just has read a few Facebook memes and has sucked him along.
Who knows?
Anyway,
look,
I didn't say that.
Me,
allegedly.
No, you go.
No. Look, for me, if Robert Tonyan is active, I think
not.
He's a good
He's on his ACL, mate.
What?
How
have I missed that? I thought it was COVID.
Robert Tonyan.
Tonyan?
Yeah, he did his knee last.
Oh, how did I miss that, Rowan? All right, we're cutting that out. That one. So what I was saying is we don't want to play Tonyan because he's torn his AC.
Exactly. We like.
I'm just out on pass catches. I'm just out on pass catches on Green Bay's side. It's too risky.
Look, to be honest, I like both Aaron Jones and I like both Darrell Williams.
Yes.
And if Mahomes and co get up in this game, Jordan Love can't do anything to get back in the game.
Derek Gore.
I'm going to play Darrell Williams. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah.
Last game on the slate.
Yeah, we need it to be the last one after that, schmuzzle.
Yeah, that's
Jeepers.
right. San Francisco taking on Arizona, and this is a 45.5 point total. Arizona 1 point favorites. This is a really interesting game because there's so many guys with the Q. Dreaded questionable tag next to their names. Kyler Murray, who knows if he's going to really get up and play, and if he does play, what quality are we going to get out of him? Deebo Samuel's dealing with, I think, a calf at the moment, so he's got the potential to definitely not play if it's soft tissue related. We know what that's plagued him in the past. So Deebo Samuel, hesitant on that. Hopkins dealing with a hamstring. Jimmy G came out and rushed for touchdowns last week, which was very fun to watch. But again, I can't really play him. Elijah Mitchell dealing with rib injuries. You just got to keep an eye on the injury report for this game because who knows, maybe Brandon Ayuk comes out and is the clear number one for San Francisco. That would be pretty crazy.
That'll be right. Just I saw I've dropped him in bloody redraft.
Oh, well done. And AJ Green is dealing with COVID. So that's fun. And he's probably going to be out this week as well. So if AJ Green's out, if DeAndre Hopkins is dealing with a niggling hamstring injury, then I like two guys from Arizona here, and that is Chase Edmunds and Christian Kirk. And heck, Zach Ertz, I know he's priced up at 8K on Draft Stars, but he could be the guy to benefit as well. So it's always vacated targets. They love to go back to the running back, so Chase Edmunds is the guy there that could do that. But or do you see Rondale Moore come back into the scheme of things and get some manufactured targets? I'm not so sure because I just don't think he can play on the outside. And that's really what AJ Green and Hopkins are. So Christian Kirk's probably the guy here that I like with all of these big question marks hanging around so many other players. Yeah,
I think, and the price 8.4K.
He's
that's
down from
value.
the 9s that he was last week, the last 2 weeks here, which is good.
Yeah. I'm not so keen on Elijah. Elijah Mitchell had a big game last week, but against Kansas City, what's it called? Arizona's defense. That front is going to be a lot harder to run on.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm out on Elijah Mitchell this week because he's just not getting past to. And if he's going to find it tough on the ground, then you need him to be able to catch passes. But they're just not going to make that happen, I don't think. So, watch that. Watch that space for sure. I think the Cardinals. I think the 49ers. Both. This is okay. I was going to spout that one of them was good. But I actually kind of think both of these guys could be a good play. This could be a really dead-in-the-water type game where both defenses are able to just really hold strong. And so, yeah, that's it.
That's it. Main slate done.
There's a comment that's just come through that we're going to ignore.
Yes.
Don't flick it up, Arch. Don't you dare. I'm getting enough hassle in my redraft leagues. Let's be. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm just
Rowan,
glad-
how do you feel sitting 5th in the TFL? That's our home leg, with 4th lowest points for. Jeez. So what are you saying? You just don't deserve to be up there.
That's what he's saying, but I'm there and sucked in. Don't give a rat's. You suck it up, everybody. It's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, stuff you, Blummy.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why I said that.
It's like you're on my side or something. That's a very strange way to be. Oh dear, yeah. Redraft is not my friend. This year, but that's okay.
Do we want to talk about primetime games quickly?
You got the Rams in Tennessee. That's gonna be fun.
Yes.
No prices out yet, but there's just gonna be so many ways to play that game.
No Henry, so
That's gonna be
pass.
Yeah, that's right. Jeremy McNichols, big fan of Jeremy. Adrian Peterson is just like a skeleton. He's a dead man, right? He's a zombie on the field. I can't believe
You
that.
just wait. If he gets the ball, I'll see him doing a lot of early down stuff, and he'll be all right.
He'll be okay. He might punch it through for a touchdown. But
He'll show
AJ Brown.
flashes.
AJ Brown.
Oh yeah,
Love that. The next one on the Monday Night Football was Pittsburgh taking on Chicago. Where
how did
I'll
this
be
get a Monday night Guernsey?
I think I'll just play both defenses in that showdown.
yeah. Can you play them twice?
That's right. So that's ugly. Anyway, well, here we go.
Did it.
And this is Arch. Is this? No, not yet.
What?
No, we got 2 more weeks of DraftKings in Australia.
I think potentially, yeah. So before we get stuffed, DraftKings after this. So
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I hope you have some insights. May you profit this week. And of
join our
course,
Discord.
don't forget.
Join our Discord.
That's it. Come on, $2 a month. Really, really cheap.
Don't even mention the cost. Just join the Discord and you work out the rest, guys.
That's it. Get on board with us here in Australia. Appreciate it very, very much. Arch, it's been fun.
Yes, as always. And just a reminder, Robert Tonyan tore his ACL.
Catch you